Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I titled this message on being wrong about the people you meet. On being wrong about the people you meet. When I think about individuals who are dating, networking, being very trusting of the neighbors when they move into a new community, making fast friends with people who you happen to come in contact with at a store, or people that you have met for the first time at a workplace. I think about how easily misled some individuals can be when they want nothing more than to make a quality relationship with someone. Initially, when we think about it, there's absolutely nothing wrong about meeting a person, right? Having a great conversation. We don't want to make it a right or wrong. It just is, because humans want to connect. At least most do. But when someone is seeing the red flag warning signs about an individual, or others around that person see the red flag warning signs, and yet the person continues to ignore, now we have a problem. I know that it can be so disheartening to once again find out that someone is not your cup of tea. To find out that someone is lying and conniving and saying some really messed up stuff. To find out that someone has some real nasty habits. To find out the negative news about a group. I really wanted to trust these people, not again. But God loves us so much that He's not going to give us the information that just tickles our fancies. He's going to give us the information that is going to keep us safe. He's going to give us the wisdom to keep us from falling into a trap. How many people have lost money making fast friends? How many people have lost quality connections because someone came into your life and used you and abused you, and you defended that person? You stood up to those who were critical of that person. And so those that were once close to you, once liked you, once loved you, no longer, because you have a poor way of connecting to people, or you are a bit misguided. Or I can't get mixed up with you because every time I get mixed up with you, I lose money, I lose opportunities. You got issues, my friend. You make too many fast friends. I don't know what's lacking in your life, but I don't want to be mixed up in it. And the more you warn some individuals that they need to be more discerning, the more that they push back because you just don't want me to have any friends, or you're jealous of me, or, you always was a negative Nancy, or what have you. And that is not it. But of course, the enemy is at work here, because the enemy at work wants that person to eventually be destroyed. So his job is to push any Jiminy Cricket type of character that is in that person's life out. You all remember Pinocchio, right? And Jiminy Cricket, and how he was giving Pinocchio advice. And then Pinocchio ends up where? Lost boys. And he's running around with some wild boys. And the boys got donkey tails and everything else. Well, some individuals, as old as they are, that's what they do. Why can't you move to a neighborhood and just enjoy your house and, the things that God has blessed you with? Why is it that some individuals got to be busybodies? Got to be all up in the neighbor's business? Didn't you have a falling out at the last location? And wasn't that falling out because you were all up in this one's house and that one's house? And Some people don't bother to take time out and pray. Pray before you connect with the person at the grocery store. Pray before you exchange phone numbers at the workplace. Pray before you do just about anything, because God knows. He knows the future. He knows how people think. He knows what's up somebody's sleeve. I'm one of those individuals that I have to sit back and study people for a while before I even so much as open my mouth. There are people who I have been at their workplace settings, have years ago visited in their homes, and they did not know anything and everything about me. They only knew what they knew based on whatever information I gave them. And if I didn't give them everything, they're not going to know everything. But some individuals, they'll get among people and they got to tell not just what is going on in their lives, but they got to talk about everybody else's lives. And I've been around those folks most recently. And I said, just like she can tell us everything that she don't like about this one and that one, I'm sure she is going and telling her little close circle everything she don't like about us sitting in this room. And that's why I'm going to be real careful of what information I give. And I could see the judgment, the attitude, the mean-spiritedness, and whatever else creeping up, especially if my experience was better, or I had quality stories, or I didn't even have to open my mouth. I could just see the way the woman looked me up, down, and sideways. You see? Trying to figure me out. You want to know more about me, you could put my information in the internet and you could find out whatever you want to find out. But I'm telling you, I'm about helping the people. But I knew and still know some individuals that they don't like who they say they don't like. Believe it. You see. So we've got to be discerning first and foremost when it comes to dealing with individuals. This fast friendship and assuming the best about everybody, but yet some folks, they could talk about all sorts of things that they can't stand about their family, right? But then what about the friends, the connections, the associations with some of these immoral individuals? God has told me in my lifetime, time and time again, yeah, you might have some issues with, some of your relatives, but you also need to make sure that the same way you're discerning with your relatives, you're discerning with these strangers. Come on. The next thing is that let's not be so trusting so quickly, right? There's too many individuals that are so quick to trust anybody and everybody. Okay. Yeah, you know your family real well and the kind of shady things they can come up with. But do you know that person who you love so much for now because they're giving you, because they're treating you, because they're, honoring you or what have you? Sometimes, as I've said in past audio, some people just use charm because there is a motive. And you don't know what their motive is until you tap your pockets and you realize, oh, my wallet's gone. You see, just giving an example. The next thing that we need to consider is that we don't forsake all individuals just because this person or persons have showed up in our lives. Now, there are those individuals that God himself will tell us we need to separate, set ourselves apart from, set our family members aside. We don't need to be connecting with some individuals, right? And that includes those people who, once again, just because he's given somebody some money, just because he's in the bed with somebody, just because he helped you out or hooked you up, just because he sounds nice does not make him a nice person. And when we call people's attention to these things, they will say something like, oh, well, you don't know him. No, but I've felt something in the spirit. Oh, that doesn't count. Or, well, okay, yeah, I understand you pray and what have you, but that's what you do. Just let people enjoy their lives or what have you. Yeah, you can enjoy your life with the devil. Sure. Until the devil shows up and shows out and it ain't happy. It ain't good. And now folks are saying things like, why didn't you tell me? I tried, but you shut me down. You wanted me to be quiet. So that brings me to my next point. When you feel something in the spirit, I don't care if the person's going to get upset and they never want to talk to you again. I'm going to say it. And I have done this with those that have been close to me. Yeah, they knew some personal prejudices or biasness or whatever as me, the human being. But when God took over my mouth and my countenance was a bit different, you best believe some individuals were like, wait a minute, I think God is in the plan. And I think God has put her up to giving me this word. And there were those times where some individuals, they did listen and they kept themselves out of trouble. Some of you all, you stumbled across audio, and it was audio that set you free because you finally said, you know what, this woman don't know me, but this message is dead on. And I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to get myself mixed up with this one and that one, or I'm no longer going to continue to entertain conversation with this one. Or I need to be more mindful because this person really is a stranger. And the next point I need to make is you need to question, why is it that you made such fast friendships? Or why is it that you're so trusting of? Why is it that you care so much? Because if you don't ask those questions, somebody around you, God will put up to asking you these questions, and you're going to feel a bit offended. Why are you asking me all these questions? I told you this person's just a friend. I mean, yeah, I don't really know them, but no, there's no sense in being defensive about that sort of thing. You don't know them. You don't know them. You don't know them. You're not there 24/7, all hours of the day with this individual, but yet fighting up against people who say, I just want to let you know there's a history here with this person. Somebody who knows somebody told me that he's good for stealing, or somebody told me that this person has been known to lie. Watch listening to this person. Don't be so quick to go places with this individual. There's been some stories about folks not coming back home after they've been on some trips with this person. You see, people don't do enough research and they don't do their due diligence. I will tell you that there was a time where I was just meeting all sorts of people. I don't know. It was just the presence of the Lord. And I'm talking about walking and riding and on the bus. And it was these type of connections where I felt like I knew these people, right? But even though I did not know them, God knew them. And God was telling me some personal information, if you will, about these individuals. And so I knew not to bring these people home with me, right? Not to give them phone numbers, not to exchange, heartfelt, deep conversations with. If they felt comfortable sharing their deepest with me, so be it. But I did not feel that that's what I was supposed to be doing. I was supposed to be listening, you see. And I thanked God for what I call these 5-minute friendships, because they helped me over the years, and their information also helped some of you all, when I've given you examples of different people and so forth, because you cannot teach and preach and advise and, give tips without talking about people. Some people who would not dare say anything about anyone, well, that's their calling. That's what they do. They want to deal with machinery, stuff like that. They're more comfortable with that. So be it. But those of us who have a calling on our lives, we're going to talk about the things that most people don't want to talk about, because they don't feel that they're so-called good enough or clean enough or whatever. But we tackle the issues because God says that you're ready. You're ready. And for some of you all, you're ready to have those kind of friendships, but not the kind where you're going to be the one telling all your business. You see what I mean? Ministers and social workers and teachers and other professionals know all too well that when people show up and they have a problem, they don't want to hear all about you. Unless, of course, they're offended by something that you've said. And so now they want to go on attack against you by gleaning some information from you. Oh, well, didn't you tell me that years ago that you had a similar issue? And so anyway, you got a lot of nerve telling me this, and that, and that. Look, are we here to talk about you, or is it going to be one of those things where you sit up here and you just want to pick me apart because you don't like what I've told you? You see? I want some individuals, once again, to realize that fighting up against people who are just trying to help you, trying to build this, defense in terms of why you want to be with who you want to be or who you want to be with when you want to be with. Okay. But don't waste your energy. Don't waste your energy. If this is the decision that you have made concerning connecting with someone, being with someone, go right ahead. But if it's not scripturally based, it's going to be problems. And that's why God will raise up a believer to warn you. You know what the Bible say. You know what you feel. So why aren't you listening to your gut? You see. You know that you can't keep dismissing certain things, that sooner or later things are going to rear their ugly head, and you're going to have to be the one that stands strong and stand up. You see, talking to young people can be quite difficult because I feel in the spirit, some of you all, you don't like who your younger, relatives, younger co-workers or what have you are connected to. You don't like some of the things they say. You don't like some of the things that they do. And so when you try in your most professional and nice way to explain some things, you just don't want to hurt their feelings, but at some point you will. And if they're that easily hurt, well, you can do better without them. You see, they'll figure it out. They'll learn. Didn't we? We learned the hard way, many of us, but we learned, you see. And I know that we don't want our young people to go through some things, but I'll tell you, most recently, the Lord told me, he said that I don't want you trying to control the situation, control the outcome concerning one of your sons, right? He did not want me to be the individual that's going over there talking about, you better watch, this friend and that friend, and, go on one of my speeches with him. He said that he had wanted this person in his life at that particular time, and he was comfortable with this individual or what have you. But you see, God, he has a way, it doesn't matter what age you are, he has a way of showing you signs and wonders and visions to let you know that this person right here may have been good 2 months ago for you. Great conversation or what have you. But where I'm taking you or what you're trying to do in your life, you can't bring this person along. You see, that's why I had specifically asked even the Lord for 5-minute friendships, because there was this streak that showed up where the Lord was showing me all these people that had to be cleared out. And those people were the 20 to 30 some plus years in my life type of folk. Now, if God is telling me that I had to clean up some folk or some connections, some relationships with some people that were not interested in going in the direction that I was going in, then you know what he was going to do with 5-minute friendships. That's just what they are. 5 minutes, you see. There are those individuals that the Lord puts in your life where these are the folks that they've been there. They seen you go through, they saw, the dramas, the traumas, the highs and the lows. And these are the individuals that they're just very encouraging. They're going to speak the truth, even when nobody else wants to speak the truth. They really don't care about your feelings, right? Those individuals, they stick around, they come and go, but these are your quality folks. But then you got those individuals who they are the liars and the connivers, the pimps, the players, the folks who just keep getting a pass, even though they use and they abuse. Never on this channel would I encourage you all to be a part of those relationships. Never. Or to continue to be a part of, or to support other people in those relationships. We are setting captives free. And part of that is to make sure that when we are given a word concerning a person, that we are not worried about feelings and we're not worried about what they say or what they might do. Now, as we embark on this journey with the one true God, none of these people who we meet are supposed to be above the one true God. We are not to bow down at their feet. We're not to kiss their hands. We're not to do the types of things that defile the body. You understand? Our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. We are not to compromise our faith for these individuals. When I have sat down and I've had conversations with some individuals in different times in my life concerning these people that they started bragging about, oh, I love this person's so great, or what have you. You even treating the person, the new person or new people, better than myself and others. What I found was that in that moment, that person just found another individual, or people found other people to fulfill voids in their life. But then when they had the falling out, the arguments or what have you with these individuals that temporarily filled a void, now they have to go right back to facing the very thing or things that they were running from when they met that person. Does that make sense? So you show up in my life. Let's just make it even plainer. You show up in my life and I have a void, an empty feeling. I feel a bit lonely, I'm tired of the boring, go to work, come home, go to sleep type of whatever. And you come into my life. I still haven't solved the issue about the boredom. I still haven't solved the issue about the routine. So then I use you to fill up that void, you see. But then you and I, we get into a heated discussion one day, and you don't like what I have said and I don't like what you have said. And now we are treating each other at a distance. I still got to deal with the issue or issues that I had before I met you. But then rather than deal with those issues, I decide to focus all my energy on the fact that we're no longer speaking, and I'm telling other people about it, and I can't stand that, and that's why I don't really want to open up to people, and blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, if I spend some time with the one true God, he says, what about these issues over here? Matter of fact, you were not a positive influence in that person's life. Matter of fact, the timing was off. You weren't even equipped to give them what they wanted when they came into your life. So now there's a separation for good reason. Now, can we deal with this issue over here now that the distraction is out? You see? We can easily distract ourselves with all sorts of people, places, and things to fulfill these voids in our lives. And when we do this sort of thing, it isn't any wonder why we are left unfulfilled when relationships go south. Come on. Some folks, you're finding out that your relationship has been going south for 10, 15, 20 plus years. You still trying to figure it all out. And the Lord says there's nothing more to figure. You have dissected this thing. This thing has run its course, whatever you call a relationship. Can you start drawing near to me, please? Because I have the desires of your heart in the palm of my hand, says the Lord. That's for someone. But when I am inundated with life and with the day-to-day routine, and I'm inundated with the he say, the she say, and whatever somebody else say, I'm not in tune to what I really want. I'm not in tune to who could best suit me at this particular time in my life. If I'm still holding on to the past, the what was, who was, and everything else, how am I going to progress forward? So some folks, they are living a miserable existence right now, because when they awake and when they go to sleep, their minds are just playing the same old broken record of what yesteryear used to be. Photographs, can I tell you, they can be of benefit, and they can also not be of benefit. They can be unbeneficial. You say, what? Yeah, because if I got enough of the past all over my house and I'm looking at the past, all over the internet, and I'm not progressing out of that past and I'm just kind of staying there, I'm going to be stagnant. I'm going to miss out on the blessings. I'm not going to see where God is beneficial in my life because I'm too busy thinking about what God took away from me. You see? Some of you all, your healing is going to come if you would start being more engaging in the present. That you would start thinking about what is it that you haven't been doing all these years that you said you always wanted to do. And yes, you did have a character, so to speak, that you were supposed to live these things out, but you don't have that character any longer. So now you got to deal with the real, not the fantasy. Another thing that I find when dealing with individuals is we got to stop with this fantasy business. Okay. I had a perception of what I thought someone or someones were going to be to me. Right. And that perception was a false perception. I realized after, let's say, 5 minutes in one situation, he told you who he really is within 5 minutes. And you know that whatever you came into that conversation with, it has now been dispelled. Accept it, accept it, accept it. We got individuals that are still in denial about what was told to them 15 years ago. You still think he gonna change. You still think she gonna do whatever, right? Some folks, the memory or memories, they're in the grave. It's time to create new memories, new opportunities to achieve the things that you've always wanted to achieve. It's time to write it down. It's time to put pictures up, a vision board, if you will. It's time to get around people that think like you, and they have all sorts of meetups online. I know I'm triggering some folks' thought because you forgot about the meetups, meetup.com. You can find any group anywhere about all sorts of things that people are into. You see? But these attitudes, the mean-spiritedness, that creeps up on the faces of individuals when we start bringing them the truth about friendships and connections and relationships and partnerships, and why you don't want to just go full steam ahead on everything with everyone. But yes, take the time out to learn, to grow, to ask questions. You see? Some people would have saved themselves a lot of heartache, a lot of money, a lot of different things if they would have just took the time out to sit back and think. Who is this person? How is this person benefiting me? How am I benefiting this person? Do we have a cordial relationship? Are we respectful to one another? Do we truly love or like one another? Is this person going to be the child of God that he or she claims to be? Or is this going to be another person that I'm going to have to be at war with? A child of darkness who's always having an attitude every time something of light is being spoken. Can't stand wisdom, can't stand the people of God, venting, got an attitude, side eye and all that. I don't want that person in my life. So why do you put up with that person? The devil don't want you to hear a message like this. You see, but we got people once again who will defend folks who they don't even know. All I know is she's nice. Nice is not good enough. I keep telling some individuals, you know what? You can just save that adjective because I don't want to hear it. That is not a selling point for me. If my sons come to me telling me about some nice female or nice male they met, so, mom, you rude, you ignorant, whatever. I don't care. You can say whatever. Nice is not good enough. Give me reasons as to why this person is nice. And are they nice on a consistent basis, or are they only nice because you happen to be outdoors with them? All the public is looking. And I mean, don't we all typically be that way? But how are they when nobody is looking? Come on. How are they when they're not in your limelight? You see? I feel things in the spiritual realm. Right now, there's a couple of people that come to mind, and I got to thinking, I said, for me to even have a message like this says that there's something in the atmosphere, something funky that's not being discussed, that somebody feels like they are obligated to continue on with a farce of a connection or relationship or business arrangement or what have you, because they kept telling everybody how nice this person is. So when the person starts showing out, acting up, being ugly, they are not going to go back and tell their family, you were right. Oh, no. This is where the abuse takes place. This is what happened to me in 1996, because when people ask me how was everything going when I started dating an individual, right? I had my false perception of this individual. I had a fantasy of this individual based on the information that came out of this person's mouth. Therefore, I was dismissing the signs, right? So when the ugly signs showed up, I wasn't about to go and tell mama and daddy and grandmama and everybody else that this fool is a fool. And you were right, Because pride comes before a fall. Pride is what keeps the woman in the abusive relationship. Oh, I'm telling somebody's business. Pride is what keeps some men in these situations where now it's the woman who's abusing them. I can't very well tell my mother's favorite that this is what's really going on. I can't very well break this information to my sibling, because my sibling will probably get a weapon and do something, you see. So they just mum about it. But in the spiritual realm, as I see these sorts of things happening, what I really don't like is when others can pick up on some things, but yet they'll still defend that one who's the abuser, the user. The pimp, the player, the hustler, as I've repeatedly said in many audio. Supporting, engaging. Going back to fantasy, we have a fantasy that shows up in our mind of what we want, of what we hope to attract or connect with, whether it's a friendship, an intimate relationship, it doesn't matter. You just got your idea of who you want. But reality shows up sooner or later with all of us. We can only be somebody's fantasy, but for so long. What angered me was that I tried to be as real as I could possibly be when I met a particular person years ago. You knew what it was, but yet your mind wanted to paint a different picture. Why was this person's mind painting a different picture that made me look more like this Barbie doll in the Barbie doll house and he was Ken? Why was that? Because Ken was trying to get out of a relationship with a knockoff Barbie. Knockoff Barbie. If you get her at the dollar store, her hair, some of you all that's familiar with cheap dolls, her hair starts going somewhere else after the first wash, and you can't comb the doll's hair right. And her clothes, they're not very nice. They're not threaded right, sewed right. The quality of clothing that they pick isn't much quality. And her shoes don't really stay on her feet, right? And the plastic, after a while, with much wear and tear, it starts to separate along the seams of the legs. Come on. Those of you all who have played with dolls or know little girls with dolls, right? When you get the cheap one, it doesn't last. It's not quality. It's a knockoff Barbie, right? So knockoff Barbie has hurt knockoff Ken. But now Ken realizes his potential. Ken realizes he's got some quality traits. But Ken says, now that I know who I am, I'm looking for Barbie, the real Barbie, right? But Barbie even has flaws. And sometimes Barbie breaks. I remember when we had the real Barbie, quality Barbie, and how her plastic at the time, back in the 80s, it would split at the chin and along the neck, because you combing the doll, and then eventually that plastic is only going to hold up for so long, right? Or rubber or whatever. And so it starts to split. And now we trying to use all sorts of glue and everything to keep Barbie's head on. Now Barbie, she don't have no neck. And you trying to keep that doll on her body. But Ken wanted Barbie that was perfected. Barbie that was quality. And Ken don't want to stay with Barbie now that he sees her imperfections. Ken starts talking to other people about Barbie, how Barbie don't like this, and how Barbie talk like this, and how you don't know Barbie like I know Barbie, and all this other stuff. But you should be grateful, Ken, because you don't have knockoff Barbie. Be glad for the Barbie that you have. Come on. But some individuals, this is what they do in these connections, is that they're hoping that they're going to be able to keep with the fantasy in their mind. Please, please don't destroy my fantasy. God says this woman right here, she may be a quality Barbie, but she's only meant to be in your life for 5 minutes. And that's 5 minutes of help to you. That's it. She's not there to have sex with you. She's not there to buy you anything. You're not going to be able to take her home or nothing else. Well, if I can't do anything with this Barbie, then I don't see why she's even here. And so for some people, within 5 minutes, you see the attitude and the meanness because he can't get what he wants. And some of you're upset because it's been 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years. And you wanted Ken to eventually show his quality traits. And it never happened. And you got disappointed. Or he had some highs and he had some lows. And you still kept on thinking that your perception of Ken was going to stick. And it didn't. Ken showed you who he really was, and now he's being punished because you can't let go of your false belief concerning Ken. Don't some of you all do that with your friendships too? That's why you go through friends like you go through underwear. And people, they feel the negative energy. They feel the tension. They feel that, I'm no longer his fantasy. I felt that within, I'd say, the first month or less. I said, the minute I stand up for myself, the minute he sees that I am not the little flower, as I said in another audio, where you can pluck my petals, he's not going to like me too much. And I really don't care, because it's either you going to be ride or die like you claim you are, or you can ride your way and die somewhere else, because I'm not the one. I'm not Burger King, and you're not going to have your way. So these things that we discover about individuals, we've got to be the type of individuals that say, I can tolerate that. Yes, I understand, Barbie, your neck. I can't see your neck no more. I understand, Ken. Well, Ken, your leg is broken and you can't do much with your leg broken. But we're in this together. I understand, friend, that you are not going to always be there for me when I need you, but it's okay. I got to give you credit for the times, friend, that you were there. Come on, some of you all, you've been friends to me and we never spoke in person, but your money and your sharing and your liking and your commenting was there when no one else was. I got to give credit where credit's due. Hallelujah, and praise be to the one true God. We cannot carry all sorts of ideas in our head concerning people. We cannot be the type of individuals that when things don't go our way, that, oh, well, we throw in the towel and it's no good and whatever. I remember when there was an individual not that long ago who said that, well, if you're not going to be able to do this, this, and this, then I don't see why we should. And there was some details at a workplace, that could have been given, but the decision was made not to give those details and to only work with the information that was already given. Okay, fine. But the thing was that because the person couldn't have his or her way, this individual was ready to throw the towel in. What? That's a lot of education and experience and so forth that you willing to throw away just because you can't have every check mark in every box. Once again, I don't know who I'm talking to, but let's just be a little bit easy with those individuals, right? That, you got a decent rapport, what have you. And then when it comes to those individuals who, look, there's no longer a fantasy, there's no longer a fake charm, a nicety, or whatever this is that they're giving me. I see them for who they are. Let's feed them out of a long-handled spoon, so to speak. I thank you as always for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. You've been listening to YouTube Venom Enterprise 7. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment. We do welcome giving on this channel, and thank you in advance.